trying to give y'all some room.
Okay. Commissioner Court been on break, we're back now, and we're honored with the presence of the Floresville Peanut Festival Court, and welcome. Anyone have any comments or anything, you want me to read or do one of you want to read the proclamation into the records, or?
Judge, I want to tell you, I ran into these young folks outside and commented on what a good-looking group they were, that they were even better looking than last year. And I was informed, by this gentleman in the back, that it peaked this year. So I just want you to know that. He tells me it's peaked. They may be better looking, but it's over now.
That's hard to argue with.
Well, I can't. You can't argue with that.
What's his name?
My name is Derek Michigamba.
Derek, Bill, would you come up front, please? Would you read the proclamation into the record for us? All right.
Peanut Festival Days Proclamation. Whereas the city of Floresville, Texas is celebrating its 69th annual Peanut Festival to be held October 8, 2013 through October 12, 2013. And whereas the state of Texas harvests the second largest crop of peanuts in the nation, of Peanut Festival acknowledges the historical and commercial importance of the peanut industry to our region. And whereas the Peanut Festival is a grand celebration that not only recognizes the importance of the peanut to the Southwest Texas agricultural, but also raises money for scholarships. And whereas the citizens of Wilson County are invited to enjoy this unique celebration and attend the main events, including the Peanut Festival Parade held at 10 a.m. on Saturday, October 12, 2013, and the Big Street Dance held at 8 p.m. that evening. And whereas Saturday's activities also include an abundance of peanuts and peanut brittle, arts and crafts, displays, various musical entertainment, food booths, and carnival and fun activities for the whole family. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Commissioners Court of the County of Wilson hereby recognizes and proclaims October 8, 2013 through October 12, 2013 to be Peanut Festival Days. And we call upon the people of Wilson County to participate and enjoy the special festivities.
Very good. Very good.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Comment, Commissioner Powell, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Almost the king is walking.
Y'all didn't mention that we had the biggest peanut.
Judge, what was that first peanut festival like 69 years ago?
You forget it's longer than that. You don't remember?
I don't.
It really was longer. We had some years during wartime and whatnot that the festival was canceled, so.
I knew he was at the first one, I just didn't know the time.
That would have been 1938. That would have been when Governor John Conley was king of the first peanut festival.
Y'all like to take some pictures? If y'all file in behind commissioners, we can sure use some help in that area.
Yes, we'll never bring that back.
Hey, I'm not just through the
as possible.
Look there on the see it.
All right, you ready, folks? Okay, I'm gonna do 3. Here we go.
Say peanut. Thank you.
This is Jenny Myrtle, and you glasses for you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Lots of goodies.
Good, y'all are ready for us. Judge and Commissioners, every year, we ask for the courthouse grounds and the parking lot in which to have our festivities, and we're here to do that again this year. We're asking for the parking lot from Friday, October 4th at 6 p.m. till Monday, October 14th, for our carnival and setup. And we're asking for the grounds for Goober Games on Tuesday, October 8th, and Friday, October the 11th through Sunday, October 13th. We've already gotten approval for our street closures from the city of Floresville, and everything's been sent to TxDOT as according to
We're,
plan.
we're a little bit in limbo right now as to, for the grounds, as far as the courthouse restoration. They have indicated they would work with us, so to the best of our knowledge, I mean, we will certainly try to accommodate, but right now, I don't know if we can guarantee it.
I think we can work something out if need be.
Yeah, I think we can move it around, if there may be some fences in place, there is a fence in place at the courthouse now.
We've worked around that in the past.
Yeah, motion, Commissioner Fowles, Commissioner Gomez, all in favor?
All right.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Thank you all very much. Thank you for having us.
Y'all do something to bring some rain.
We'll try.
Do we need to go on beats?
They did, he just did them.
Okay, the last item is a budget workshop, item number 27.
Well, since we're planning to bring us lunch.
And a fast one.
I really don't have a whole lot, there's a couple of things I want to kind of go over. We have set up our schedule for our meetings and hearings, so I would like to let the court know when those are so that y'all can approve those, because some of them do not fall on regular commissioner court days. I tried, but there were 2 days that are not on commissioner's court day, and I believe it is, we have a tax increase hearing on September 9th, which is, that is a commissioner court day, isn't that one? Okay, it's the next one. It's the second hearing, which is on September 16th, which is not a commissioner court day. That is a Monday. So I was hoping that we could go ahead and approve having that. Okay. And then the next one is the tax rate vote, which I have scheduled for September 26th, I'm sorry, September 25th, which is a Wednesday.
Okay.
And the reason we got these on odd days is we have to follow the
Okay.
days. So those are the two that I'd like to go ahead and see if they'll approve that for me.
Both of those at 9 AM?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's just worded, budget workshop, we just get consensus, everybody all right with those dates?
The 25th? and the
16th and 25th, and you will send us an agenda item
Yes.
Berna, on that, so I'm ready to.
Okay, that's the section vote. We're gonna try to keep to that schedule. The other thing is we did receive our information from Wilson County Appraisal District on our tax rates, our rollback rates, and our effective date. And Kristen gave me the publication. Which if I can find it. That is going to be running in the paper this week. We put it in, posted it on Friday, so they'll run in the newspaper. And it gives you the information on all the rates. And for some reason, of course, I can't find. It's organized over here. And of course, I can't find it, but I will get it to you. Basically what the rates are for this year. The effective tax rate is 41.50 per hundred. The M&O is, the effective M&O is 0.3983 per hundred. The rollback rate for the county, for the M&O, is 43.01, and the INS rate currently is at 0.63. So the total rollback rate for this year, based on the appraisal district, is 43.64. Our last year's tax rate was 45.33.
So the tax rate is going to drop.
Yes,
Rollback would,
unless you vote for rollback elections, which we wouldn't. But, we take complete rollback, it would be,
43.64.
43.644.
Of course, that does not include anything, since we, did not issue the bonds today, that only covers the, debt service fund releases.
But that's something that we move forward with a package to the public. That we retired the debt on the jail, and there's a figure there that will no longer be. And along with this reduction from last year even, it will indicate that everything passed and to do everything we need to do, that would indicate to me that probably there'd be no additional taxes to anybody as to the projects. But that, we need to get that solid figures to demonstrate that. I don't want to get out on a limb saying that's definitely what it is, but I think it would indicate that it's going in that direction. Right?
Yes, sir.
And it's got how much it generated this year also? How much, you said, $300 and something thousand.
Oh, on the.
The increase.
Yes, it's on the very front, the notice of the, budget hearing is on the very front, this went into the news, will be in the newspaper, Wednesday. And is the budget hearing that will be on August 26th. And nothing's been changed on this budget as of yet. The new properties, according to the appraisal district, for this year was 85 million. And that generated 383 in tax revenues. $85 million,
On new properties.
and that'll generate $383,000 in tax revenues. Last year, our increase was 65 million and generated about 200.
So about 100,000 more, almost less than 100,000 more.
But the difference, I mean, if we go up, roll back, the difference will be greater than that because it'd be all taxes, not just the food taxes, is that correct?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
With an 8% increase from last year, if we went to rollback, would be greater than that. I mean, it would be over last year's taxes, not just new revenue, but.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, all
Yeah.
of them. And also in here, that you all have is the, last year's rate and then the effective tax rate and the rollback rate. I've also included the small entities, with their tax rates. They're just generating enough to cover their debt. And then we have the statement of increase and decrease as far as,
This Wood Valley acres on here, road district, we could probably increase that and help defray our rate.
Appreciate that, Judge.
Oh.
But if you increase it, you just pay it off with it.
That's the only four that's still outstanding now for the road district?
there should be overbills. Yep. We paid off President's Park.
That's good. Why is it down?
I think Oak Hills is probably due up to be paid off next year. if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Wood Valley is really the only one that has this.
Because we borrowed so much money.
Right.
But we're still at, what, 223, something like that? We were at 719, we borrowed 719,000. It's a lot of money. We're down to 200. We're at 295, we just made a payment, so it's 223. I
It's
think.
on
I have to look at it.
it's gonna be in the newspaper posted on the-
Now what?
BT,
That Young Road?
I needed paper.
It's back up, we're back. It's back up.
Oh, okay.
Something like double wide.
Okay.
I'll be right back. Let me go make a copy.
You can keep going. I'll get
I can
one.
get, oh, okay. Yeah, I just have to.
Ralph, El Robicue came in after y'all did, yes. Hey, anything else?
Unless there's something that y'all want me to adjust, we already have our.
How
hearing
does-
on 26.
how does this, being we're gonna have the election, how's that gonna affect any of the budget? Or would it affect the budget in any way?
Well, I have set aside 500,000 in the budget for the payment on the bonds. And we can take that out, or we can go ahead and leave that in. I'm not exactly sure how.
Did you budget all elections? I mean.
We
you
don't.
you
We
put it
didn't
in?
budget for a big
No,
election,
so we're
then
gonna
a
have that.
consolidation.
Plus, we were, the other question I have is, when we have the election, if the bond does go through, and our first payment is due in this next fiscal year, we're going to have to, we cannot put an IMS in there because it's not legally required yet, but we will have to put some money aside to make that first payment if it were to pass.
It would seem to me that we ought to leave that money in there for the payment if the bond is not approved. In my mind, there's still, you can't just let the old courthouse sit there and fall apart. There's things we're gonna have to do, so that money could be diverted to preventative.
Oh, Ms. Eva, I had a question, I don't know if you can answer it until we find out. River Authority, will the cost of the election be less to us now that the River Authority is also having an election?
Yes, because they have to pay part of the workers.
Now, if they go uncontested, they'll call theirs off. will they
Yes,
not?
and we will know that probably August the 26th, but not until 5 o'clock, because I think that's their deadline.
So,
So I won't know on that.
So you had before said election usually runs about 15,000 or something like that?
and what would their contract be for if they held?
Well, we would give them the price of how many ballots we ordered, so they have to pay a percentage of it, since now it's part of their. And then, of course, their election workers, they have to pay for an early voting person, full-time, because if they do have their election for them. And then they would have to do that for each polling place.
How many polling places would you have?
We're gonna open all of them. Yeah, we had consolidated before to
Yeah,
deter the
it's
cost.
probably more for appearances than anything else, because there won't be that big a turnout, but we don't want anyone to feel like that we're trying to keep anyone from the polls, and we do want everyone to participate in the vote. And, so I guess that's probably the best reason
Yes.
to have them all there.
I guess one of the questions I have, if it were to pass, would we need that dollar amount for the payment being put back? You know, we were looking at 2 payments, from what I understand. Would we still have those 2 payments by, I guess, putting it back?
No, you would have at least one of them though, because if this bond had gotten sold today, our first payment would have been in February and our second one would have been in July. So we would have had both payments in one fiscal year. If the election were to pass and we were to do the bonds, I would imagine early in the year, like January or so, I would imagine our first payment would probably be due in about June or July. So we would have part of a payment. So it would not be the full 600,000, but we would be doing the first payment.
Yeah, there was misconception, I think, as far as, I think somebody had indicated that the courthouses and the construction, well, it had an effect on whether the raises went or they didn't go. And when actually, that's a separate part of, under 8% as far as rollback. I mean, that's a real misconception out there, and it's, there's a lot of misconceptions as far as what we were doing, what we wasn't doing, but, we've got to deal with what we've got, you know. So, what we know?
So based on that information, would you all like to change anything in the proposed budget as it is, or?
Well, having been over it, studied, looked at it and everything, anything you see that you feel like you want to look at?
No, not one.
I have one quick question, because I didn't want to take a look at it. Did you include my RPA? Can you give them?
Your RPA.
Yeah, my records preservation. Okay, I didn't look for it.
So there's no downfall on shortage on what we had first, discussed, that we were short 385,000
Well, I had computed it based on the current tax rate.
on the current.
M and O. I was a little surprised to see that our rollback was less than our current. But I'm thinking most of that is due to INS.
So we're fine with that. Yes, no.
I've not actually sat down and done the rollback rate to recompute where we're going to be, but I do think that with the 500, we should be okay. With the 500,000 that I've set aside for the bond payment, we should be okay.
So you think it's gonna balance out then?
We probably need to schedule a workshop sometime to discuss the buildings, financing, how we're gonna proceed. If we're all gonna be on board on this election, we need to put a package together to present where we're at and what we've done so far. I don't see how we could have done any differently. We've had open meetings for several months, participation. We've spent something over $700,000 on architectural fees, x-raying the foundations for metal, to make sure the structure is sound, for asbestos and detection and all those things. So we're way down the road, not to put our all into it and make sure we get it done and get to where we can start serving the people with what the facilities that they deserve to have. And, the fragmentation in the county is not good in any means, but, so I think it's important that we put a unified message out as to what we're doing and what we're trying to do and what the results is. It's counterproductive to leave misunderstandings out there as to what's there. We need to be as straightforward as what we have to do as we possibly can, and make sure that the public understands what we're doing. It's important now that we get out in the public with a common, unified message. And like I said, if we need a workshop so we can at least attempt to be on the same page, then that's what we need to do. But right now, it's, everybody here understands what we got looking at us and what's there to work with. So, any other questions, comments?
It seemed to me that if we're not all on the same page, we're pretty close. So that, the issue is whether we would do it as an election or whether we would do it through the authority that we have. And I agree with you. We need to, as best we can, put together an approach that represents the entire court. And we probably need to take that to the people. I don't know if we want to do meetings in Stockdale and Polk and so forth and so on.
Well, I
don't know what we do, but we do need to make
I had
people
thought we
aware.
could put a package together pretty much laying out what we've done and where we're at. And, I had thought about getting on the agendas and asking the commissioner of the respective city or whatever to accompany to those meetings. And we can get on the, water board meetings, the different school boards and things like this. All we need to do is have the facts out there, and to show the package out there. I think, you commented, let's start over here with precinct 1. What would your take and your comment on how you'd like to proceed with this?
Whichever we can. I mean, we live, I know I was against it for us to do the COs, but we got what we wanted on, letting the people decide on, they wanted to vote for it. So now it's up to us to decide. For my point of view, get it on the city or whatever it takes, so.
Do you want it to pass? Do you want to proceed with it to have these facilities done? Is that what you're saying?
Well, If you ask him that, if I wanted to pass, that's why we left it up to the voters.
But that's what I'm saying is, are you against what I said as
I'm
far
not
as
against-
packaging,
no, I'm
packaging
not
what
against-
what we want to do and putting it out to the voters as a positive thing?
It's a positive thing to give it up to the voters.
That's your stand?
That's my stand.
Commissioner Powell?
We need to go forward. I think we need to try to somehow present to the public and try to get the public on our side. And the facts need to be put out. That's the main thing. To me, the facts haven't been put out. And we need to tell the people what we actually have and what we got out there. Not just some hearsay and this and that, and just hand out paper that was in newspapers. And I'm not saying newspaper didn't print the facts, but we need to have the actual facts given to the public. What each thing is gonna cost and what we're planning on doing. And everybody said, well, look at a new one. Yeah, we can go build a new one, $50-60 million. Is that what y'all wanna do? Fine. I mean,
Well, there's so many things as far as, if you look at the building going on around in the other places, what their cost is, Medina County is building the jail $15 million.
Yep.
At this
you
point.
can look in these county magazines, you can see it every time, every month, where different counties are building different facilities, and no one's doing what we're doing for the cost.
Right, exactly.
You know, that's what's amazing to me.
And the fact that the library board had been planning for several years to put a package together to ask a bond for a 20,000 square foot facility, and they're satisfied with this building, and will make a nice library. And that in itself would have cost more than what all three of these projects have cost. So the benefits are very great, and I think that Commissioner Morales?
I agree with Commissioner Paul. I mean, we need to get the facts out there. I mean, that's part of the problem, probably, yeah, we don't have the facts to get out there quick enough. And that's what I agree on, we need to move forward.
And you've already commented, you have any further comments?
No, just in that, we need to take the information, having been in the business of selling things in the past. We need to do what you're talking about, get together, be certain that we, as much as possible, are all in agreement, and then put that in some sort of form that we can hand to the public.
Well, you know, take the pictures that the architects hung in the hallway out here, we, you know, bring them down to a part of the brochure, pamphlet, whatever, and add that, and then the facts as far as the financing and so forth, so on. See, would you like to? Anyone else? Library?
I would just like to see the true facts get out there, because I worked this past Saturday and I had 2 people wanting to know why they were tearing down this building and building a new library. So-
See there?
So you can make true facts on out there, so maybe take the time.
Well, they've been, you know, because of the study that we did for projected use, we had some of the stories that was on the website was that we're looking down the road at an animal control facility for the entire county. And it's a lot of work to be going into it, to coordinate with the cities and so forth, so on. But the story came out that a lot of people that we were putting in a kill facility is gonna kill. That's couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, we've always said that once we reach that point, you know, I don't wanna leave anybody with, I've tried to be as open in everything that I've ever done since I've been here. And one thing I want to say as far as the animal facility, and we mentioned this last time, we've always have had contact with adopting agencies and everything that would be a very large part of what we're doing. They're volunteer groups, there will be no cost to the county, but give them an opportunity to adopt and do whatever. Now, anyone has to keep in mind that many of these animals that are abandoned are terminal. They have heartworms or other things that people abandon them because they don't want to spend the money on them, and they take them out and dump them. So you can't adopt an animal like that out. Many of them are vicious animals that are utilized in illegal activities, dog fights and things like that are vicious and can kill an adult and a child very easily. So those can't be done. So, you know, we don't want to lead anybody to believe that there would not be any use for that, but along with spay goods programs with a licensing fee of $5 per pet that then gets them put on a computer to where people have an opportunity to regain their pet. I mean, I've chased this rabbit a long way, but I think it's information that's nice to be out there so people understand that we want to do it in the most professional, humane way that we possibly can, and that was one of those erroneous things that people signed under the pretense of, or the fact that was one of the things we were going to do. And there was several different things like that. So, anything else?
One thing I'd like to ask is, if the election goes, I mean, if it doesn't pass, we probably need to look at something in this current year's budget as far as what are we gonna do if it does not pass? As far as, the courthouse, so I don't know if we
I think,
need to sit down.
this is my personal opinion, I think with the tax pool funds in there, that we need to not bobble or slow up on the courthouse, we need to go with it as much as possible.
If we do that, we will need to put that in our budget as an item.
Well, whenever we drew the $1,075,000 out to purchase this building,
I would consider it an emergency. I guess
that would be an
courthouse falling
emergency.
down is an
If-
emergency too, but.
I think we can frame it that way because of the fact that the bond fell and that was an emergency that we did before that. You don't think that would work? Hmm?
I wouldn't have a problem with putting it in the budget.
Just put it in there for, well, why don't we
Pull
do
it,
that?
pull it from the tax pool and put it in the budget, and then if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I mean, nobody, but if it
How
does
much
happen,
interest are we
it's.
gaining in tax pool on?
Pardon?
How much interest are we gaining?
Not much, what is it, 0.02?
Yes, it's very little. In fact, we got 300, on our $7 million in July, we got 300 and something dollars.
So do that.
300 and, that's June, I'll give you the exact thing. That's what we're getting.
There, so we could.
Well, that way we have it budgeted, so there will not
If we
be a
need to pull it up,
question.
we could.
I think,
As far as,
I think that's, do whatever you need to do to make that happen. That everybody have a problem with. And,
Do we wait or do we move forward on the courthouse, or does it wait till after the election?
I think we move forward because the time's of essence, and that will even give us an opportunity to, I mean, if election, we've done spent $700.
I understand that, I just want to make clear.
I don't want to forfeit that myself. I want to make sure that we utilize it in whatever. And I'm confident the election will pass if we all come together and maybe put a unified effort out there. But in the event it does not, for some reason or another, the courthouse, we should be able to handle, you know.
At a minimum, we need to continue with the plans for the footings to support the structure so that it does not deteriorate any further than it already has. That much needs to be done.
Well, I think we need to look at packages as they come in. We don't want to put ourselves to where we're going to cost us exorbitant amount to finish it if we can do it in unison. So, you know, I mean, I think it's something we need to look at as a package and study it and see what we come up with.
I will adjust it to show that.
Appreciate it. Anything else, anybody?
Because we're supposed to meet with, in the month, to pick the group,
Well, you're supposed to get their input, what day is it? It's a Thursday before.
22nd, 23rd.
It's a Thursday before the meeting,
I think it's the 22nd.
and that's a committee that just kind of to review it to start with. We
Thursday
can,
of next week.
we can in the event, once we get it, we can, we set it where we can act on it in the commissioner's court meeting afterwards. But if there's any question, we can set a workshop where everybody can participate in this meeting. So, it's, Anything else? If not, we adjourn.